are very welcome to the mat with me this morning. So today I started working, I'm doing a little bit of a workout this morning to help my knee. So I've had a little bit of trouble with my right knee this week and last week, and I think it's down to lack of quad strength or an imbalance of quad strength, especially in the inner thigh here and along the quad. So I kind of devised a little bit of a sequence. I have posted a video, or will post a video, about the number of reps, kind of if you want to make it more gym based, and get the reps up a little bit higher to build strength. And then I thought it might be nice to turn all of that into a yoga sequence that you can do for yourself. So perhaps you're not, super conscious of building quad strength, and you prefer just a little bit more yoga involved in it. So it's quite short, I think, or meant to be anyway. So hop on your mat. There's a couple of things you might need. I'm going to use a loo roll today. Just, because everybody has a billion around the house apparently. This is like our second last one. We did not stockpile. A yoga block, but you could use a chunky book from home. It doesn't need to be too heavy for this. Or in fact, you could also use a ball. If you have a ball around, not a tennis ball, maybe a kid's like football, you can bring that along as well. Because it's our knees today, definitely some padding for your knees. As with all yoga classes that you take with me, they are at your own risk, so please never be in any pain or strain, and you're doing this at your own level of responsibility, so please be mindful of your body. So jump into something comfy, hop on the mat, and I'll see you in a second. I'm going to begin in the lying down pose in what I call constructive rest pose, or it's supposed semi-supine. So you lay back, bend your knees, and make sure your toes face forward. Walk your feet out then towards the front edge of your mat, so there's a soft 90-degree bend in your knees. Roll your shoulders down and take a slow deep breath in and sigh it out. Deep breath in. Check out how your body's doing. Go inside for a moment and see what's going on for you today. Set an intention for your practice if you are inclined. So maybe it's an affirmation, or a theme, or an idea that you're working with. Let's bring our knees into the chest. Slide your hands to the back of your thighs this morning and hug your thighs in towards you. Rock across your lower back from side to side. Extend out through the left leg. We're going to hold the thigh this morning. Extend through the left. Press your heel to the ground, toes up towards the sky. And then change legs. Activate both feet so the leg that's outstretched is very, very active. Pressing down. Draw the knee all the way up towards your thigh by engaging your quads. Both knees to chest. Okay, it's a good time to grab that. If you had the ball, or you want to use a block or a book, or indeed your loo roll, pop your feet onto the floor for bridge pose. And you should be just about able to touch your heels with your fingertips. Almost will do if you can't get them the whole way in. Take the narrow edge of whatever piece of equipment that you're using and slide it just above your knee. So you want to be able to get a fairly good grip with the knee here, just above the knee. Roll your shoulders down. Inhale. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Exhale. Drive through your heels. Lift the lower back off the mat. Peel back down on the inhalation. Exhale. Squeeze your block. Lift up through your thighs. Keep your feet on the floor. Press through all four corners evenly. Inhale, lower. Exhale, curl under. Squeeze your sit bones in here at the top. Draw them in tightly to activate your glutes. Curl under, lift. You want to keep squeezing that block here. Keep drawing it in the midline so that is getting your inner thighs, your adductor muscles, the inner thighs, and also your quads to fire. Last round. and lower all the way down. Pop your block to the side. Okay, you're in a good position here with your legs, but you might want to stretch them out a bit more, get a soft 90-degree bend. Curl your tailbone down towards your heels. You want to snuggle your lower back into the mat and extend out through your right foot. It's gone off camera here for me, so wiggle up. Please point your right toe away from you. And then this is the leg raises, so draw the lower belly down, curl the tailbone to the heels, take a breath in. And on your exhale, lift your right leg just the same height as your left thigh. Keep pressing the small of your back into the mat as you lower. Look towards the sky for you guys. Inhale. Exhale. Lower belly down. Lift the leg. Really press out through the toes here. Inhale, lower. Exhale to lift. Now not only are you working the quad here of the right leg, you're also using your core muscles, particularly the transverse abdominis in the lower abdominal area. Always on the exhale I lift, so that's exhale for effort for me. E for effort, E for exhale. So you might do maybe 10 of these on either side. I think we're about 8. We call it 8, 9. And the final one now. Feel the strength in your leg. Feel the strength in your lower belly as you draw in and lower down. Rebend that knee. Put the foot on the floor and extend out left leg. Point through toe. Inhale. Lower belly down, curl the tailbone under. Exhale, lift. Just the same height as the right thigh will do. So you keep going. The slower the better in terms of abdominal strengthening and in terms of building muscle. So it's nice and slow, not a race. You want to feel every movement. You might notice one side is different to lift than the other, and that's quite common. Little exercises and movements and any sort of yoga really is great for building this body awareness. I think we have about 3 more left. Knit the bottom rib down towards the hip bone here. And final one. And lift. Bend the knee. Pop your feet back on the floor. Okay, these are leg raises. These are a little bit more abdominal work, so it's double abs this morning. So slide your hands underneath your lower back. So lift your sit bones, slide them underneath. The palm goes down. Roll your shoulders from your ears. Snuggle your lower back into the mat. I'm going to show you 2 versions. Start with the knees bent and the toes pointed. And these are toe taps. So you could do quite a few of these. I would have done earlier on maybe like 36, so 12 sets of 3. But this morning, just for this, we're going to do a little bit less. So take a breath in. Draw the lower belly down, and on the exhale, bring your toes down to tap. Keep the lower back pressing in as you pull back up. Now, if you find that the toe taps are a little bit easy for you, they tend not to be after a while, by the way, is you can go a little bit more, and you might instead extend out the legs fully. Now, if you have any lower back issues, I would definitely keep the legs bent. In fact, if you have lower back issues, you might decide to do just one tap, one toe at a time, one leg at a time. So there's loads of variations. Otherwise, you could stretch out. I'm going to push through the heels and both legs come down together to hover off the mat. Pull back up. Now my lower back stays pressing in, tailbone curled under, lower belly down, voice shaking. That's it. And you're feeling every little bit of your abdomen working here. We'll do 10 together. I think I've only done 3. 4. On the exhale, lower belly down, curl the tailbone under. I think I skipped half that one. Right down to hover. Pull back up. And if halfway through you're like, actually, this is kind of enough for me, take a break. That's fine. Never pushing into pain or strain. Modifying for yourself. And that'll do. Bring the knees into the chest. Grab the backs of the thighs and widen at the knees. So stretch the inner thighs as well. So that your shoulders roll back and down. And it's nice to stretch out the tummy after this. So flat your feet on the floor. Stretch your arms above your head. Pull the belly in and maybe stretch out through your feet as well. Arms down, top down, knees in. And we're going to roll over onto your right hand side. Okay, so with the knees bent, this is called a clam. So clam can be done with up on your arm like this, or you can stretch out fully on your side, whichever you prefer to do. So your knees pull in front of you, and you can just about see your feet and then take them back behind you. Now if you have a resistance band, you can put it across your thighs here, as I would have shown you in the other video. Plant your free hand, your top hand on the ground, take a breath in, feet stacked. Exhale, lift the top leg up and slowly lower down. We're going to do 5 reps of these. 2. And you'll feel the outer thigh working, the inner thigh, give it a squeeze at the top. And always moving with control, and then flip over to the other side. You can do them laying down or up. I'm going to stay up for this round. So stack knee to knee, these are the right angle out from you. Bend at the ankles, stack your feet and roll up. These feel too easy, which to me they do generally. That's why I add the resistance band. But you might find that they're tough enough for you, and that's fine. And the way to make things a little bit more challenging is to increase the amount of times you do them. So increase your repetition. Okay, I'm going to come on to all fours. Definitely pad underneath your knees here today. You can't have a class about my sore knee and not pad underneath them. So go ahead and get onto some padding, onto all fours, fingers face forward. Spread your fingers wide, knees beneath hips, hip width distance apart. Send your right leg out behind you, turn the toes under, heels to the sky. You're going to press back into your calf muscles. Breathe in there as you feel it lengthen, and if it's tight, just rock backwards and forwards a little, warm it up, bring some blood flow into the area. If your knee is a little bit tender this morning like mine is, I'm going to keep a soft bend in it. So rather than locking out of the knee, I'm keeping a soft bend in it and pressing back. I'm still getting into my calf muscles. And then we change sides. They're usually different one side from the other, so if you need to kind of warm up one side, go for it, rock forwards and back. If this is your tender knee, you might decide to keep it bent, press back. This one is okay for me, so I'm going to push a little bit more firmly back into it. And then knees down, tuck the toes under and roll on up to stand. So come up heavy, all the way up and roll the shoulders down. I'm going to keep my padding towards the back of my mat and step to the front. So this is a high lunge with a pelvic tilt. So this is to stretch your hip flexors here down the front of the thighs, right up near the hip. These shorten a lot when we're sitting, so if you're kind of on the couch, you're working from home a lot more and you're not inclined to move as much, because we are quite confined right now to within 2k of the house, then we're going to start to open up the front of the body with the hip flexors. So inhale, raise your palms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, lift your left knee to your chest. Pull up the quad of the right leg. Hold. Then softly bend the right knee and step the left leg all the way back. We're going to go for a bend in the back knee this morning. Hands to your hips. Curl your tailbone down towards your heels. And what I usually say is imagine you have a big Texan belt buckle sitting on the front of your tummy or your pelvis, and tip that towards me. And then you can softly bend the back knee down. And you're going to feel this right down here. Make sure you activate the right leg. So you're pulling as if you're trying to draw the knee up towards the hip bone, strengthening that leg. Push down through the heel. Hold for 3, and you can do a few pelvic rocks if you like for 2. And for 1. Lower the back knee down onto your padding. Perfect. Okay, these are quite fun, so we're going to get our loo roll here. And take your loo roll and put it into the back of your left knee. If it'll stay, it should do. Okay, you might just squish it a bit and put it into the back. You can use a tennis ball here too, it works even better. I just don't have any that I'm covered in dog slobber at the moment. Put your right hand on your right thigh. You're going to pull your heel up towards you, point the toe. If you want to lunge in a little bit more, but do drop the tailbone to the heels or kind of tilt it towards the floor. And hold. If you've got painful knee, you're not going to be able to hold this. So you may want to skip this one, and that's okay. And then lower down. We'll do that again. Inhale. Exhale, curl tailbone. And pull heel to butt. You feel this here. Asking your hip flexor asking your hamstring rather to contract, pardon me. One last one. Inhale. Exhale, pull it. And release. Change legs. So, oh no, we're going to, sorry, my bad. I'm going to stretch out the hamstring now. So hands to the mat, or you could use your book. So if you've a little bit of a tenderness in your lower back, you might want to keep the chest up higher. So lift your toes up towards your face. I'm not going to lock out this knee because again it's quite painful for me to do that. So you can have a soft bend in your knee or straighten it and lean forward into this. If your hands can reach the mat, that's fine, or balance them onto a book or a block. Push your heel down, your right heel into the mat, and gently pull it back towards you. And that you will really feel a good hamstring stretch here. We'll do a hamstring stretch again in our back in a wee while. And then go ahead and bend the knee, and we change sides. Okay, so we'll step back to the front, and we'll go again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Draw right knee up to chest. Lift up the quad of the standing left leg. And then slowly and with control, step back. Okay, we are in our high lunge position with a pelvic tilt. Softly bend the back knee. Tip the tailbone forward. Now this for me feels quite strong, so I'm going to shorten my step to make it feel a little bit less intense, and you could do that too if it feels better for you. Notice how my left knee stays above left ankle. To make it more intense, you could lower your back knee towards the floor. This is enough for me with my knee. Hold for 3, for 2. You could also do the pelvic rocks for 1. And let's go ahead and lower that back knee down onto some padding. This is the hamstring curl. So take your loo roll and slide it in the back. Hands onto the thigh or hands onto the wall. Pull that heel up towards your bum, point the toe. Breathe here. Now feel that strength. Maybe you notice a difference in one hamstring to the other. And then release. Inhale. And exhale, pull up. Now if you wanted an extra something, you could pull your right knee towards your left heel without moving them. And you will feel more in the front of your right quad. Last one, and pull in. Belly in, chest up, release. Okay, now it's time for the hamstring curl. So go ahead and straighten the front leg out. Again, you might have a soft bend in this if necessary, or you can straighten if it feels good for you. Lift your toes towards your face. Place your hands on the block or the floor, or even onto your hips if you have the balance. Drive down through the left heel, pull it back towards you, and lean forward. So don't sit on your heels, lean into it instead. And then go ahead and softly bend your knee and come back onto all fours again. Okay, so from all fours we're going to move into a squat position. Now this is a little different, so I'm going to get you to squat against the wall. Come on up onto the wall. When squatting against the wall, it's important that you're not wearing socks or anything you can slip in, so make sure your mat is quite secure. Mine is a non-slip, and walk your feet out in front of you, about 2 feet from the wall. Toes face forward. You slide your back down the wall, so your lower back, your shoulders are flush to it. Roll them back, press in. When you're here, draw your sit bones in together, so the bony parts in your bum, imagine them drawing into a V shape. You're keeping your knees facing forward, you press through the heels, and you could squeeze an imaginary block between your thighs. So I've got pressure, resistance between the inner thighs. You could also, of course, use something to hold in between. Hands to your hips so you won't rest on your own knees. And maybe stay here for 5 slow breaths. Almost there. 2 more rounds. And then press away. Ooh. Give your legs a good shake out. I can feel that now. Okay, next up is our step ups. So for step ups, I recommend actually using books instead of blocks. So I'm going to grab a few books here. Alright. So I have a few books here to act as my step. To be careful that they don't slide off each other. And this step up process is again to get your knee kind of firing up a little. If your knee is quite healthy and you want more of a challenge, use the yoga block. It's more unstable, but for my knee today, it needs stability. I'm starting on a low step, hands to your hips, my right foot is forward. And all I'm going to do is rise up as if I'm stepping onto a step. And back down. Inhale in. Exhale, push through the heel, stand. And when I come to standing this time, I'm going to engage this left leg. So draw the muscles up from the ankle to the knee to the hip, and down. In the previous video, I would have done quite a few reps of these, or explained that I did maybe 12 on each leg, and I did that 3 times. But 5 is enough here for the sake of this video. And then we switch sides. Inhale and exhale. In a full length yoga class, there would be quite a lot of stepping. You know, you're getting it even without realizing it. So you might be stepping into a warrior 3, or you're stepping into a lunge. So you're constantly moving, putting weight down on this leg. Engaging and straightening the outside leg now as well. And then let's relax down. Okay, next one. And we're moving to is some leg raises. So go ahead and sit on the ground. You're going to need a wall for this and your loo roll. So squish back with the loo roll. So bring your lower back right up to the wall. So it's actually pressing against the wall. Roll your shoulders back and down. Bring your shoulders to the wall and take your legs out in a V shape. Okay. So in the V shape, I'm placing the toilet roll inside my right ankle. It'll look like my left ankle to you guys. Stay tall here, so no rounding forward. Shoulders to the wall, hands to the ground. Please get very burny. This is for your quad strength here. In the previous video, I would have explained that I did 10 rounds on each leg, and then I did it 3 times, and we'll do a wee bit less here. So point your toe, inhale, roll the shoulders down. Now tighten in the core as you exhale, lift your right leg. It goes over, side to side. It's a little bit wide, so you might figure out that you need a little bit closer. We'll do 2 more. Okay, there is another option in terms of what you do with the outstretched leg. So now give this turn. You kind of keep it bent here. So if you find that easier for you, it's a little bit less core work involved, and that might be more comfortable for some of your backs. So whichever one you choose, it's fine. These get very burny. By the way, if you want more of a challenge in these and you're like easy breezy, put a block on its side, stack them up, and then challenge yourself to see just how high you can lift. Okay, time to lie on your back to stretch all of these leg muscles out that you have been working. So start with your left knee bent, foot on the floor. Stretch your right leg up into the air. Interlace your hands at the back of your thigh. This is for your hamstring, and start to draw your right knee in towards you. Flex your foot and push your hand into your leg and your leg into your hand. Hold your stretch. About 30 seconds is usually about 5 breaths. It doesn't have to come very close to your face. So you might have your leg out here, for example, or lower. If you struggle to interlace your hands here, grab a strap or a belt and loop it around the back of your thigh. Press your lower back down towards the floor, so send the sit bones, tailbone down. And then bend your knee and change sides. Toes to your face. Relax the shoulders. You might again notice one side different than the other. My left is tighter than right. So I keep a little bend in the knee to allow for that. And then slowly, slowly I'm going to start to straighten it. And bend. Now roll over onto your right hand side. And lift your right arm above your head so you're lying in a reclining position. Your left knee is the top knee. So it might look different. Oh, earphones fell out. It might look different on the video, but just the top knee goes forward. So it comes onto the ground. Stretch your underside, your bottom leg back and grab a hold of it. So top hand grabs bottom leg. And you're going to kick back into your own leg. Pull your heel towards your bum. This is your quad stretch, or it's known as a cat tail or cat pulling tail pose. It's a yin pose, this one, but I find it's really good for stretching out those quads. It doesn't have any weight on your knees either, which is nice when you're stretching them out. So keep drawing the toes in, shoulder down. You can kick your leg back, so I'm drawing the knee back to intensify it. And then gently release. And you roll to the other side. So roll through. You get to see it from the other side. So my left hand is under. My right knee is the top knee comes forward. The bottom leg goes back. The free hand holds it. Draw it back towards you. So rather than bringing your foot across your body, try to keep it right behind you so that it's straight. You're not twisting through your knee. Kick back if you want more. Press your hips slightly forward if you want more. Hold for at least 5 breaths or 30 seconds. And then release. Roll over onto your belly. On your tummy, you get to do the same again. So bring your knees out to hip width distance apart, lower your forehead to the mat, and reach back and grab both feet. Now rather than your knees splitting out, keep them close together. Point your toes straight back behind you and gently press your feet into your hands and your hands into your feet as you pull them back towards you. If you can't quite manage this one, the last one would have done the same job. I just like an extra quad stretch. They're tight right now with the work I'm doing on them. If you'd like to add in just a slight back bend, inhale, roll the shoulders back, and very slowly, just a small amount, lift your chest off the ground, tiny amount. Then release your feet and rest your head down. Curl your toes under, bring your big toes into touch. So toes under, heels for the sky, and this is for your sacroiliac joint. So lengthen your tailbone towards your heels, pull your lower belly in, inhale. Exhale slowly, gently firm your legs. And release, untuck your toes, let your heels flap out. And take a moment here to breathe into the back of the pelvis. Roll over onto your back again for a twist. Knees into chest, hands to the back of the thighs. That feels better for your knees. Rock across the lower spine, or maybe even circle your knees. Open the knees wide, or open the hands wide rather, and let your knees roll to the right towards the floor. If that's a little bit deep for you, you could use a block. I can't find mine. You could put your block underneath your knees, or put your block between your knees or between your thighs. Keep your left shoulder on the mat. Breathe into the lower back. Then curl back to center and take both knees to your left. Right shoulder rolls down. Roll back in, remove your block if you're using one, and knees to chest. If it's okay for you, you could of course put your hands on your shins. Just right now my knees feel like they need a little bit of space and less compression. And then we're going to go back to that constructive rest pose to finish. So feet planted, hip width distance apart, knees face the sky, toes face the back of your mat. Hands a little wider than your body, palms up. If you want to put your blanket over you to wrap up, please do. And stay here for at least 8 breaths or so. So breathe into the belly. Top up into your chest. Breathe right up to your collarbones. And out. And breathe into the belly, the chest, the collarbones. And repeat. I invite you to stay on for a few more breaths here. Maybe press pause on this video or press stop. And just stay here a wee while. Check in with your body, your heart, your head, your breath as you lay. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed your leg strengthening practice. Come back to your intention before you finish for yourself. And I'll sign out now by saying thank you for your time. Have a lovely day. Namaste.